Clearly, you are here because you want to make another amazing choice. Welcome to the second video in this series of hero profiles. This time, we are covering Delmont Walker, the witty engineer. Just like I did in the previous video, I'll be going over his skill cards, his perks, his ultimate ability, and the mechanics on how to play him. I am making one of these hero profiles for each Horde character. But who would you like to see me cover next? Be sure to leave a comment below, subscribe to see when I upload the next one, and if this video helped you or you simply enjoyed it, please hit that like button. Before I kick this guide off, the engineer class of character is the one I've always loved playing when it was introduced back in Gears 4, and it's still just as good now. But let's get into this machine loving menace, Del. The skin I prefer to use on Del is Desert Armor Del, just simply for the goggles, because it's the closest we can get to something resembling an engineer. You also have Green as Grass Del, the Chili Dog, and Dom's replacement. Del's role within Horde is to be an engineer. Whoever plays Del oversees building fortifications and a base so that the rest of your squad can deal damage, protect your base in turn, and have the base protect your team. Del is equipped with everything he will need as soon as you start a game, the repair tool. This one sidearm is all you need as the engineer. It will be used to repair and reload your fortifications, and you are going to spend most of each game doing exactly that. Del's ultimate ability is called
They see me rolling.
This will summon 2 trackers nearby that will seek out the nearest enemy, exploding at their feet and causing damage. The trackers will stay active for 20 seconds. If they don't find a target in this time frame, they will explode where they are. They will also prioritize whichever target you mark. This ultimate ability does have a base cooldown of 5 minutes. Like every other hero, Del has a passive ability, and his allows him to build and upgrade fortifications at 10% discount. He will also be able to move faster whilst carrying fortifications. The skill cards I choose to use on Del are as follows. I am Iron Man. Repairing provides stim. The Objectifier, reduced fortification cost. The Sentryman, reduced cost to refill sentry ammo. Practice makes perfect. Increased repair speed and reduced repair cost. Tanky boys, increased fortification health. His other skills are More is Less, the Armadillo, Master at Arms, it's fast as fuck boy, Steel Skin, Weapon Master, Only Sentries Allowed, Sniper's Bane, BFFs Forever, Science bitch. I do occasionally swap my skills around with Del. Overload, for when I know that my damage output needs to be as high as possible, and it also forces me to keep my base as healthy as I can. Armor plating also works well with Overload for many of the same reasons. But remember that it only applies the damage reduction to fortifications with at least 75% health. Best friends, I will use this if I have a good Jack player on my team, as I don't expect Jack to follow me around. It just helps when we are close to each other and I see that I'm repairing just that little bit faster. Being able to build fortifications as cheaply as possible is one of the best skill cards that Del has. I never go into any single Horde game without efficient fabrication on. Now, this is the part of the video where I would cover Del's perks, but he doesn't have any. None of the engineers do. This means you have more energy to spend on building and upgrading those fortifications. So, let's cover those instead. There are 6 fortifications you can build as an engineer. Death Walls, Doppelgangers, Bullet Hoses, Tesla Coils, Refill Stations, and the Moneymaker. Barriers are the cheapest defense, used to slow down or completely stop enemies from getting too close. They are cheap to upgrade and repair. Starting out with very little health, they will gain more health with each level. They'll also cause damage to any enemy trying to get past them. This damage does go up with each level. Decoys will taunt any nearby enemies to attack them. They start out with a small health bar and taunting radius. This will increase with every level. They are cheap to buy, upgrade and repair. At level 4, once destroyed, it will cause a huge explosion, dealing area damage to anything nearby. Sentry guns. These are your main damage dealer as the engineer. These have a decent amount of range and start with about a 45-degree firing arc. As you level these up, they will get a longer and wider range. Also, with each level, they will gain more health and ammunition. Each level will also increase the amount of damage these do. Shock sentries. These are great for long range crowd control. They have a very long range, although a very narrow firing arc. With each level, they get a longer and wider range. They do start out with a slow rate of fire, but again, as you level these up, they start to deal more damage and fire at a faster rate. Just like with the sentry guns, they will gain more health and reserve ammo as you level these up. Weapon lockers are great to support your damage dealers. They will start with only one slot to begin with. As you level these up, they gain one extra weapon slot with each level. These provide consistent ammo regeneration to any weapon stored. The Forge. This is essential for Jack. Used to generate more energy throughout the game. This will melt down weapons into energy. This gives a small amount of energy at level 1. As you level the Forge up, it will begin to give more energy back for weapons. Also gains more health with each level. There is technically another fortification, but you can't build these. Energy taps. Once your group completes waves 10, 20, 30 and 40, one of these will spawn randomly on the map. Capture it and it will generate energy at the end of each wave, if you can keep it alive. There are several spawns of these on each map, so it's down to RNG if you get a good spawn or not. But how do I like to play this perkless perky machinist? First, grab the fabricator and drag it to somewhere easily defendable on the map. This is usually one of the spawning areas at either end. Next thing you do is start building. Start with a forge if you have Jack on your team, or build barriers if you don't have him. Then you will need some sentries, decoys and weapon lockers. Which one you build next depends on your team comp and map, but here is my rough guide. Do you have Jack? Then build a forge. Then build some barriers. Are there any damage dealers with you? Yes, build a weapon locker next. If not, start with sentries and decoys. Now you have some basic defences. Make sure they are healthy at the start of each wave and during the wave if you can do it safely. After enough waves have passed and you have a big enough base, you are likely to not shoot another bullet throughout the rest of the match, as you will spend so much time repairing everything. I know I just went over a lot of information there, so here is a map representation of a game I did on All Father's Arena on insane difficulty. First, I started by placing the fabricator here, marked by the white circle. That will make the entire area highlighted spawn proof. We had a Jack on our team, so I built a forge first. As the waves went on, I built barricades, decoys and sentries, placing them here as and when I could build them. I then worked on getting all these to level 4. Once my group hit wave 25, I pushed out further to here, placing new fortifications in these places and leveling them up to 4 as well. At wave 31 I moved further out, taking this small area at the top and adding just a few fortifications. By wave 38 I had covered this southern area with fortifications as well. My team got quite lucky with the spawning location of our energy taps, represented here by these orange circles. I hope this overhead view helps show how I built my base. We did go on to finish this game and beat wave 50, and just as a note, we also had the power drain modifier on. But because I had a good team, I was still able to build so many fortifications. Finally, who plays well with Dell? Jack. They are best friends after all. They complement each other, and when both are played well, you end up with many more fortifications and hopefully an easier game of Horde. Anyone else who does a lot of damage, such as Kate or JD, if you have someone who can focus down a boss that can ruin your game, like a Kestrel or Matriarch, these guys will make your 50 waves so much easier. And lastly, Baird. Yes, at this point he is a brand new character, and not many people will have even unlocked him yet. But he does have some passive perks which can complement your sentries and weapon lockers. He can even passively repair all fortifications when he lands headshots with his M-bar. Thank you again for watching this hero profile guide on Delmont Walker. Leave me a comment below on who you think I should cover next. Subscribe if you haven't already to make sure you don't miss the next one. If you have made it this far, thank you for watching the video. I really appreciate you, you beautiful human being. If you have any feedback, comments below are appreciated as I want to improve on these videos. I hope you have an amazing day, and goodbye for now.